maybe it'll play again.
All right. All right. It's episode 1 about to go live. Come and join us, buddy. We're good. We're back to you. Can you hear me?
I can now.
You can now. We're
I'm
live.
like playing our intro, and what I see you going.
You hear me?
Hey, it's midweek with Mike and Amanda.
Hi, everybody. Hello, Amanda. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Excited about our new little project here starting today. So thanks everybody for joining us to talk.
Yeah,
Have fun.
we're gonna have some fun. All right, so midweek with Mike and Amanda. It's Wednesday. Maybe we should like make this a thing. What are you drinking for your midday? I've got a bubbler because I
You
need
know
some
what?
caffeine today.
Yep. I got water. I was a bad boy last night, so I'm drinking water, a lot of it today, actually. Yeah, it's a good thing. We'll have a different cocktail of sorts every other Wednesday. And speaking of every other Wednesday, why don't you let the people know what this is all about, young lady? Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this? Okay. Well, I suppose we should start from the very beginning because you and I like randomly met each other. Gosh, how many months ago was it now? Maybe like 9.
Probably
It's
about
been a
9
while.
months ago, we were just starting to gear up for the Chattanooga Spring experience from 2024, and it was late. Yeah, we're coming. Actually, you know what? I think I met you. Should come out of the Las Vegas show, so probably about October we met ish.
That's probably true.
And you asked our sales rep Scott Beach to be on your podcast, Digital
And he was
Dialogues.
like,
He said, no.
no, Mike can do that.
Talk to he in fact tried to get him to shut up. I think he said he's a good guy for these, and we did it, and we've just been good friends ever since. We had a lot of fun. I think one thing I want to point out what got my attention, and we're gonna make this all about us, guys. We don't talk about everything,
No,
but
not at all.
for now, so you put Digital Dialogues up with a lot of really heavy hitters in our industry, big names. Not going to mention them, but then you on your site for Virtual Vision, you put the shorts. Little shorts, little 1 minute bites of the.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some of the shorts. I can mention some names. I'm not, guy feel like Mr. Healy, who's going to be a keynote of the experience in September, and the guys from Know How, Epic Estimates, and Anthony Nelson, some of the other editors and publishers in our industry besides R&R. And some of the numbers, the hit numbers were 18, 25, 28, 28, 64, 76. 91. Then one of them, you and I had 95, and another one you and I had was 720.
Right?
Like,
Which I think
I'm going to say we
now
went,
if you go back is like well over 1,000.
I mean, it's not like we went viral and it was 720
No.
views, but
That's our own version of viral.
comparatively, I think we kind of did. And I thought, well, I don't know. I don't have that many family members. I know that. And my fingers don't work that. I can't keep clicking and watching that much. So I don't know why, but we had some kind of a connection. It worked one time, and we just became really good friends.
Yeah, we did. And it worked really well. And now, so now the exciting thing is that Mike and I connected more as like vendor partners before. And now you're a part of the Virtual Vision family. Woo!
I've joined the Virtual Vision family working with you in this great company, and it allows me to stay inside of our industry. And for me, it's great. It allows me to stay in this great restoration industry, which Virtual Vision is so adept at helping. And also some of the other service industries like the HVAC market, which I spent 8 years in when I was with
Yeah,
another brand at ENP. So I thought that was just, this just makes too much sense to
it
work together. I think
makes
that I
too
was very
much
happy
sense.
with what happened at BNP, and I'm happy to start here now.
Yeah, we're pumped to have you. So we were like,
There we are.
Mike and I had talked, you and I had talked about like well before um, you even came to Virtual Vision that we were like, gosh, we have so much fun with each other on camera. We should find a way to do this more often. Now that you're here, I was like, why would we not just like, let's go live every other Wednesday for Midweek with Mike and Amanda. And so the goal of this like is we just want to talk, banter, kind of like our own little like talk show.
Yep. It's going to be, we're going to talk about some stuff though. We want to talk about
Yeah.
bring the marketing into it, how it helps in our industry and some serious things happening right now. But on the other hand, maybe it's more like a morning talk show.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to have a
described
little
each
bit of
other as
both.
we described each other originally as a business Brangelina, and we decided that ended so spectacularly bad. Dude, that was a bad
I have
idea
to correct
for
you.
those two.
You described us originally as a
All right, fair
business.
enough. Business. Maybe more of a. Do you even know who Regis and Kathy Lee are? Are you old enough for that?
Yes,
That's
I
what we'll be like.
do. Do you see
Okay,
this
all right,
gray hair? Yes, I'm old enough.
all right. We'll do that with our coffee, and we'll have that. I could do a good Regis impression for next time. Perfect.
Except I don't know that
And
I'm
then
going to go blonde. So
that's okay. That's okay. That's not necessary. Not necessary. What? Well, we're here. Big week for the restoration industry. Well, big week for America. Tomorrow's July 4th. You have any big
yeah.
plans, Amanda?
Um, honestly, so we have some good friends who throw like a really big 4th of July party every year. It's like it is their holiday. In fact, funny enough, so we met them when we first moved to Wisconsin like 9 years ago. And they were like, "Hey, we're going to throw this like thing on 4th of July. We'll have fireworks. Come on over." Like they live in the country. So my husband is like, well, I have to contribute to the 4th of July, like fireworks esque. So he goes to Sam's Club and he buys one of those like $100 like packs of a bunch of little fireworks, thinking like this
Yeah.
is going to be awesome, whatever. We show up and we see the garage filled with like legit actual fireworks, like created in their own like launching thing and everything. So it's actually a joke now because we've been going to this party now for like 9 years that my husband brings the kiddie show of like all the little fireworks and then the big show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would imagine you might want to bring just kind of almost bring a truck in, a big parade for him. You get
Oh,
started that
it's
way.
it's funny because we're like it's in the country, so you just watch like everyone just stops on the highway to watch this fireworks show. Like it's bigger than our town's fireworks show, and it's just a private thing.
I love it.
So
All
I've been
legal.
told this
Everything's
year.
fine. Nothing. I know you. A little rural in upper
I
northern
mean, we're in
Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin, so
Right.
anyways, so
You're
those are our plans. We're gonna hang and then go to that party, and it's always such a great time. So I'm really excited. What about you? Down
fantastic.
in
You
the
know what?
heat.
Not a lot going on. It's funny. We became full time. We're from. I don't know if people know this. We're from originally from Northern Ohio, Northeast Ohio, Cleveland, and we were just young. We were younger snowbirds. That's a big joke. I got a lot of mileage out of this joke. 10 years ago, we were young snowbirds, and now we're snowbirds. I dropped the young part, but
Can you
we
call
came down here
yourself
for good about
snowbirds
a year
anymore
ago.
if you live there now permanently?
No, that's it. And we're not young, I guess was the real point of that. That's what happened. It all ended in 10 years. But so down here is most people don't live here full time. So
Right?
you look around and we have the town to ourselves. We moved down here in April in 2014. And I remember telling my wife, I go, what a quaint little quiet city this is here in Naples, Florida. And people are like, you have no idea. Wait till January. Like, and December 26th came and, well, what, I woke up. What happened? Is there a parade? But long-windedly, my point is that nothing. We're not doing much. We're gonna watch some movies. We're gonna get some ribs. This
Hey.
is June, July, August down here is like January, February, March back home.
Sure.
It's so hot that we go to the pool. Hey, you go to the pool instead of freezing, which is great. But I mean,
Right.
then we'll do a lot of indoor stuff and relax and
I love it.
be thankful that the barrel is not coming our way, the
Right.
hurricane,
Oh, yeah,
which is
we
rolling
should
through
talk
the
about
Jamaica
that.
right now.
Yeah, we should talk about that. So, actually, I was just talking with someone yesterday. It's crazy because this is now the like one of the fastest growing hurricanes that's ever happened so early on. Like it doesn't usually come. First of all, it's really early in the season. Secondly, it went from
Hmm.
like tropical storm and then it was cat 3 and now all of a sudden it's cat 5 like within a matter of
Yeah,
days. It's unreal.
it's unreal. It looks like, and not that America is the only country in the world, but it looks like we might
Right.
get spared by it. Maybe the tip of Texas, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's going right now. So important to the restoration industry. Obviously, we talked
Yeah.
about when I was involved with the experience. I mean, it's right in the middle of hurricane season, as you know,
Right.
and it's like, well, if I'm running an event, it's the good and bad news. There's no other shows around us, which is great, but God forbid there's a storm, then our guys are out there
Right.
and ladies are out there saving lives and helping people.
Well, I
Um,
think too,
so
like
it's
it's such an interesting industry because it's probably, I mean, it's maybe the only industry that I know. Maybe meteorologists do this. I guess I don't really know. That they get like called in for big storms, but I'm like, we're probably the only industry that like watches weather cams and is like, yes, there's a storm coming. Like it's time to deploy to cat zone and go fix. Like it's not like we're happy people's lives are being destroyed, but there is a level of like that the if you're in this industry, like you're in it not to have like a 9 to 5, right? Like you're going to be out on these crazy things,
yeah,
and so while
yeah.
it's hard to go to those like big weather event sites, you there I'm sure that there is a level of excitement of like, well, it's something new, it's something different, you know.
There's we have a mutual friend, and she posted something a couple days ago. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
who it is, but I do say she's involved in drying, and she's a diva. I'll put it that way. But I'm not gonna say who it is. No, she said it was funny. She said, category 4. I'm like, wow, she's really excited about that. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I get it now. Now I do understand. Business wise, this is when they make their
I
hay.
mean,
And you know what? We talked about this when you're on. I was on your podcast. Everybody I talked to for when I used to do Unlocking the Experience said they
mhm.
got into this. They got into this industry to help people. Every single
Yeah.
person, and that's so
Yeah.
inspiring. And so it makes me feel just proud to be have this tiny little role in this industry and watching them be great. It's nice.
Yeah,
It's good to see.
absolutely. It's just such a unique, I like to say often like the restoration industry specifically is a small industry with a very big impact because I mean, realistically, it's not that big. Like when you've been in it for any
No.
period of time, like you get to know people, you get to build these relationships, but huge impacts, especially when you talk about like storm season. And I don't know, I think overall it'll be very interesting because I mean, this is obviously we're only on the B's. So, Storm 2, but like already the biggest, earliest in the season. This could be, I get it's all speculation, but like it certainly seems like it could be a very active hurricane season.
I think that and this is so cynical. It's a more of a it's a weatherman thing coming, rant coming up
Okay.
for me. It's just no. It's again. We've been on here for a handful of years now, and a few years ago I said, well, it's an El Nino year, so that means it's going to be higher than the
Right.
normal hurricane. Like okay.
Right.
Then last year, well, it's going to be La Nina, and that means it's going to be higher than normal hurricanes. And I'm waiting for and before that was well. There's not going to be any named weather, so that means it's going to be. Oh, would you stop? You
Right.
don't even know.
I
You don't
I get
even
it.
know.
It's funny because when we moved, I think I said earlier, we moved to Wisconsin. We're coming up on like entering our 9th year of living here, which is insane in and of itself. But like from the day we moved here in the middle, like at the end of summer, everyone was like, "Oh, it's not usually like this in the summer here, like very rainy um and we're like, is this just a thing? Because you guys say this every year. It's not usually like this in the summer. Well, what is it usually like? Because
What's it usually like?
all the
Yeah.
summers, that's what everyone said. So,
It's and that yeah. Well, that you can hear. That's funny. I said to you in the past too. I've never met a person from Wisconsin I didn't like. There's generally nice people and good good heart. I've never met Aaron Rodgers to asterisk that.
Well,
I mean, have to change that, but we'll let
I
that
don't
go.
know
Well,
that
he's not from
most.
Wisconsin.
No, yeah, yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
no, he's not.
Anyway, it was a dead joke. Let's move on.
Speaking
Um,
speaking of Aaron Rodgers, so you're in Florida. Are you a football fan?
yeah. Oh yeah.
What team do you cheer for?
Well, I'm a fan of the long-suffering Cleveland Browns as a son of Cleveland.
Oh, well, I guess
Why
that
quit
makes
now,
sense
man?
being from
I'm
Cleveland.
not going to give up now after all that pain. Once they do, they'll win. They won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl before there was a Super Bowl. They won the NFL championship 2 years before I was born. So I couldn't even
Okay.
say I was like in my mom yet. You know what I mean? It was even before that.
You
Perfectly
weren't
timed
alive.
bad. But yeah,
That's funny.
not even a fetus yet. So it's. I'm gonna hang out there. Well, no, you just moved to. I didn't know, where do you live before that, Amanda? Before
Northern
Wisconsin.
Illinois, which
Oh
for
yeah.
those who are like, for those who are not from Illinois, you hear Northern Illinois and you're like, oh, you're from Chicagoland. I'm not. I'm not from Chicago. I
No.
grew up 2 hours west of Chicago, and after college, my husband and I got married, and then we moved back actually to our hometown, which was a very different experience when you move back to your hometown as an adult and start a family there. But then, yeah, we've been in Wisconsin now for 8 years, and it is funny because when we first moved here, everyone was like, "So, like, where's your end goal to end up? Like, where do you want to live?" And I'm like, "No, our end goal was Wisconsin." So
This is actually fine. Yeah. Yeah.
we love it.
I know.
We love it.
I know. That's great. I think that. Yeah. I was in sales for so many years. I remember driving, doing in Chicago and going up to Milwaukee for client. I always would stop at the Mars Cheese Castle, right? Get my cheese on the way
The
up and
what
down. I remember I
castle?
have a couple cheese hut. The Mars Cheese Castle on 94 going north into Wisconsin. Oh,
Sure.
you slept through those
I bet.
trips. I'm
Is it? Does
embarrassed
it
I know
have a
that
big
word.
mouse on it?
No, I don't think. No, it's just over the border in Wisconsin. Or it might be in
Okay.
Illinois. I think it's in Wisconsin. There's nothing for 5 miles either way except this huge, great place with great
Jeez.
cheese and sausage, good Wisconsin stuff. Like, oh God, I'm hungry.
Ah,
I didn't have
welcome to
lunch yet either.
Wisconsin.
All
Yeah,
right.
right. That's okay. So I
um,
will say,
yes.
quickly speaking of Wisconsin, I am a little bit sad that at an expo earlier this year, I tried to introduce a couple people to a Wisconsin old fashioned because we make them very different than the
Mhm.
rest of the place. And I
Right. Right.
don't know what the bar we were at or the hotel we were at was using, but apparently everyone woke up with a really bad headache the next day. And they only had one. We just had one. I told the
Yeah.
bartender how to make it. And so now, unfortunately, I people like to tell me that I like to kill them when we're at expos. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so far from the case. But if you do ever come to Wisconsin, we do have more than cheese and sausages and old fashions, but we're also pretty good at those things.
No, it's not so bad. I remember I saw a guy in, yeah, very good at business. I saw a guy in Milwaukee. I have a good friend of mine down here from Milwaukee too.
Yeah,
This whole block is from the Midwest. We call ourselves the Big Ten because we're all
I
from the
love it.
Midwest somewhere,
That's awesome.
And I remember I saw this guy, and he was an agency guy, and I remember he says, "You want to get a beer?" I'm like, "What's? It's 10 o'clock." He goes, "You want to get a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah,
10
okay.
o'clock.
Welcome to Milwaukee. Come in. I like it here a lot." Anyway, our hope, we're with that everything. Back to the hurricane. I hope it, let's hope it keeps going through and as little as possible damage. But I know our people are going to be
Yeah,
ready to roll in our industry, and they're going to be out there. So we'll be
absolutely.
thinking about you guys and trying to cover
Absolutely.
it.
Well, and I think
Um,
it's a good segue too into the fact of like, it is the start of storm season and hurricane season, and a good note that like I get asked often, like, how do you think companies should be prepping for this season? And I always like my response is generally, well, I hope you're not waiting until right now to think about your marketing for storm season. There are like short-term strategies you could totally put into play right now for like hurricane season and everything that's at play with that. But I mean, realistically, like you have to have thought about this well enough in advance. And I know it's just important to prepare. You have to be prepared. In this industry, In fact, I just had a podcast yesterday with someone that'll come out in a couple weeks, but we talked about the fact that like this industry is really good at like selling emergency response plans to their customers, but we're not always the best at actually being prepared ourselves for the season of that, in storm season and what comes with that, because there's so much more details than just, all right, let's go to the job site now and clean it all up. Like there's a lot of things that you
Right.
have to be prepared for behind the scenes.
I recall someone many years ago, if a guy I know, he's a little older than me, but I mean, oh, I need that LinkedIn. When I get a job, when I get let go, just I'll start then. And so that reminds me
Mm.
of that. Like, no, man, wait, you got to be prepared like that. Especially
Yeah.
one of the advantages of hurricane season is that we know when it is. We know
Right.
it's coming. We
Right.
have days and days advance. So there's no reason for you not to get a head start on your business plan to get started. And this isn't an advertisement for virtual vision. It's just the fact that
No.
yeah, something you need to do. You need to get into. I like. You're exactly right, Amanda. You should be ready to go by now. Should have been several
Yeah.
months ago. So if
Yeah.
not, we'll get through
Well,
it,
and
and then
that's
next
the
year let's not make that mistake.
yeah, and like that's the reality of just like marketing in general is, which again, like we'll probably in every week like talk a little bit about marketing because that's what we do. And we don't mean this as like a way for, certainly, like if anyone wants to come work with us, we would love to work with you. But just in general, like if we can offer education for people in our conversations and just have real dialogue about those things, that's valuable. But I think in general, like that's why I always say like marketing can't just be like a short-term strategy of, oh, okay, now it's storm season, I guess I should probably turn on some ads. Like there should be a lot more that goes with that. It's the same as like in the Midwest. Like, well, we know winter's going to come, therefore we know burst pipes are going to happen. So why would
Yep.
I wait until one has already happened to be prepared for that, And so I think it's valuable to know, like, if we're starting storm season, which we obviously are, and you
Hmm.
haven't thought through some of those tactics yet, like now is the time. It's time to get going, especially with like, if Beryl isn't an example enough of the fact of how quickly this changed. Do does it look like it's going to come to the North American coastlines? I don't know. Who knows, really? We can always speculate as best we can, and I'm not a meteorologist. But either way, there's going to be another one down the road, right? This is the B. We
Yeah.
have a whole alphabet yet. So, yeah, it's good to be prepared.
Yeah. We had to get into November for sure until it's all relaxing. But two
Yeah.
major ones were here since I've been here, and we had Irma originally in 2017, I think, and then Ian a couple years ago, which was the
Yeah.
the bad one. Irma was pretty bad, we thought, but two, then there hadn't been a direct hit in Naples since like the 50s or the 40s, and then two
Mm,
in a row in the five. So that gets people a little concerned down here. But
wow.
I don't know if you look too deep into that. It's just that I don't think there's a pattern, or just you got to be always ready. And to
Yeah.
touch your point, and luckily the people in this industry know a lot more than I do about that. But to your second point, we could help themselves, get the word out of
Right.
it there. I always tell people down here all the time, they don't, when I was with R&R especially, what do we understand? What is it? Look, when there's a hurricane, all you see is our advertisers driving around. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
do. And then we get into smoke damage and all the other damage, but this is good stuff. So
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely. Anyways, so I
I
guess
want to,
segueing,
yes.
because we're almost out of time here. We're gonna
Yep.
keep this pretty short and sweet every other week. But our goal in this is we'd really like to be able to spend some time answering questions from any of our live
Hmm.
audience members, and kind of if there's things that you want to know and understand, that would be helpful. And so obviously, like we're watching, I've got the live stream on my next screen over to see if there are any questions. But our goal in future weeks would be that if there are things that we can answer for you, and like build into our preparation for this, or even just like live answer those questions, we would be happy to do that. So for anyone who's watching, if you have questions, you can drop those in the chat at any time on any of the live platforms, and they'll come through here to us and we can watch them. But yeah, I think overall, like we just wanted to use today to kind of like introduce what we're going to be doing here, and make sure you know that you can expect to see us every other week. Well, I mean, we're gonna make sure our conversation is intentional, but we're also just gonna have fun, right? Like, I just enjoy chatting with you,
Yeah, it's it.
Mike.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, we have a good connection, and we said you're a good person, and we have a lot of fun, and let's goof around and have fun. But to your
right?
point, I'm going to make this informative too. We're not just going to goof around at everybody's lunch hour. We're gonna have some
Right.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
If you also send emails to us too, we're still go the old fashioned route. However you want these, however you get us those questions, we'll get to the best ones on this show. And I
It's
wanted to
true.
tell you, young lady, that I purposely wore the same shirt I wore in that snazzy little opening you shot the other day as a
I did
tribute to
not.
you in the show. I did. I did. See? So there you go. I'll end with I'll mic drop
I
that one.
love it. Um, Actually, I'm going to pop up our email addresses here quick in case anyone would want to reach out to us, so that you can, kind of see ways to get in touch with us. Um, so you should see it come up right at the bottom. Email us, Amanda at
Yep.
virtualvision.net, Michael at virtualvision.net. I still feel odd saying that. I understand some people call you Michael, but I've just only ever known you as Mike. So I'm like, oh, that's
I
long.
My wife and my mom call me Michael. My mom's not with us
Well,
anymore, but that's okay. But
actually,
she's
to
very
be
proud. She would give me a dirty look from the beyond if I said Mike. So
actually
you
to
don't
be
want
fair,
that.
there's a
Any
couple
Italian
people now
moms,
at
you don't want that.
there's a couple people now at Virtual Vision that are like, nope, I'm gonna call you Michael, which that's
That's
fine.
fun. I answer the both. Just don't call me late for dinner, as they say, right? It's fine.
Oh gosh, I love it. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. So we will see you again